Okay, so if I get the news that a vintage thing is going to drop, especially a reference guide, you know, I'm probably going to go straight to that website and go all the way to checkout before even looking at the price. And that's the thing I did this particular time. So here we are yet again. Sorry, still got a bad throat, but we're going to move on. I got the cough candy, I got the water, we're good to go. Those of you who watch this channel on a regular basis, y'all kind of know that I love my toy histories. I'm always flipping through books. I've definitely used that book back there, the Toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, in my He-Man histories. You've seen my Action Force books get used in those histories. And tonight I had the honor of bringing on an author who I've actually come to really like his work, but also really love his channel. Now, a lot of people call him the godfather of ToyTube before the word ToyTube was born. I hope I've not oversold him. Pixel Dan, welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me on, Ken. Here we go with that Godfather stuff again. I really appreciate that, though, man. It's awesome.
I'm just copying what the others said, so if people don't like that word, or if you don't like that word, or if you're tempted to go back to WWE wrestling era and go pimpin' ain't easy or something like that. So
I love it. No, it's much appreciated, man. It's very cool that it's like we were kind of talking a little bit before we started recording, but it's just kind of amazing to see how much this is just change in this community that is really built up around just our mutual love for this hobby, right? And there's so many great people out there making content in their own way, and I love that. I think that is so cool.
absolutely. And yeah, with that wrestling reference, ask me how I know you like wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How do you know I like wrestling?
We'll get into that later. So, we're here to talk about your Toys of TMNT book. It could be considered a multi-part guide depending on the next release, but you've also got a few little snippets in there, like a variants guide that I want to make sure we cover tonight. And
100%.
Quip, Jay's co-host from Geek Dad Life, very aptly coined the term Encyclopedia Turtanica the other night.
That's so awesome. I love that.
If it's anything like your book back there, okay, I'll believe him. I know that's putting some pressure on you, but I think you're ready to handle the challenge.
I appreciate that. No, you're totally right. This is the part where the pressure is on, right? Like I've been working real hard this week specifically on promotion, right? Like really talking this up. I know you know how that is, right? With doing your own producing with Delta 17 and producing your own product. There's a lot of self promotion involved. It's a lot of work to get the word out there, but you also have that realization that like, well, I just spent a lot of my time really selling this thing to people. I have got to come through. I have got to deliver something good here. So, but I think I work pretty well under pressure. I think, I'm really proud of that book behind you there, The Toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And I know that me and the team are going to deliver something just as awesome, if not better, with Ninja Turtles.
I believe it. Hey, if that's anything to indicate this by, we're in good hands. And
thank you, man.
Now, I put the links. I'll put both links in the description below. But here we've got Dan's two channels here, the Pixel Dan as well as the Toy Hunts channel.
Yeah.
So, people who watch this channel, you probably already know Dan, but this is just a reminder. Don't wait for the algorithm to feed you the video. Just go through your subscriptions and look at that next toy hunt, because if I hadn't done that, I would not have seen your pickup of the epic Robo Skull.
Oh man, what an amazing experience that whole thing was too. So that's it's right in the case over here. I'll show it off. There it is. Look, it's beautiful.
There it is. It's beautiful.
I love it so. Yes. All right, we're Robo Skull Bros.
Robo Skull Bros. Yep. I messaged you like right after I watched that video, and I was just so excited for you. Right,
man. And like, what a cool way to get a piece that I've always wanted, or at least for the last 10 years, then actually getting it on the day that I meet the guy who designed it, right? And actually get to just have an afternoon chatting with him. Like Mr. Bob Brecken was so cool. Such a great experience.
Oh, Bob is an absolute gentleman. He loves the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um,
he was so excited talking about everything. I think that's what was so great. Like, cause I think Ed and I were both like, I've talked to a lot of creators over the years, like industry people. But like every now and then you just meet like, especially the old timers, right? The guys who like created our childhood. And you get that kind of like, oh my God, it's like, I don't want to say anything stupid, or I don't want to, I don't want to like bother this guy. So I think Ed and I both were just a little like nervous when we first sat down and started talking to him, but he so quickly just like, he was so inviting and welcomed us in and just rolled right into it. Just he had so many stories to tell us, and it was a really cool experience. I know Ed will be releasing his own video from that too, which has got a lot more of like Bob's stories about working on Action Force and everything. It was a really cool afternoon. Bob was incredible.
oh wow, so Edge Retro Geek Out actually sat there and I got footage about his time on about Bob Reekin's time on Action Force. Wow.
Yeah. So
Oh, I can't wait for that.
yeah. The footage that I used for my video actually was because of Ed. So Ed actually filmed like the whole experience and then let me use my footage, and then he's going to be releasing his own video. So yeah, it was really cool.
Ed's another real gentleman.
He's
Like
wonderful.
he came on this channel when I was just like, even before I had 1,000 subscribers, and I was just like, I don't know if it's worth your time, Ed. He's like, Ken, let's just hang out. I'm like, you are a gentleman, my friend, and it's just I can't say enough good things about Edge Retro Geek Outs.
He's the best, man. He's the best.
Yeah.
He was like my host through most of my visit to Europe. Like the way he was so like, he just like offered to help organize this whole week for me and like set up all these places to go, these toy stores, these collections to visit. It was incredible. Like he just all did it because he wanted to, and
Yep.
we had a great time hanging out. So huge shout out to Ed. Go check him out if you're not already following him.
I might just leave that link in the description just for the heck of it as well. So, yeah. So since we talked a bit about your YouTube career, and we're going to jump into the books a little bit here, but my friend Tim actually wanted to ask you, what has been it's such a loaded question, but what's been your biggest challenge on YouTube these last 17 or so years?
Trying to understand YouTube, to be perfectly honest. It's okay. It's always changing and evolving, right? And another thing we were just kind of talking about is like, it's important if you want to stay relevant. Like, obviously, I think the number one most important thing to do is to have fun with what you're doing. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's not worth it. But the other thing you always need to do is you need to evolve, right? You always need to find ways to improve, try new things. Don't just stick with the same old forever, because if it's working now, it doesn't mean it's gonna still be working tomorrow. And I think that is so relevant in the current algorithm driven world that we live in. YouTube is tough to figure out. Like, I've been doing this for 16, 17 years now, and I still don't quite feel like I always have a grasp on what exactly YouTube wants from me. You know what I mean? And at one point, it was about how much content you could pump out. And I used to do a video a day, which is crazy to think about now. I don't know how I managed to do that. I was younger. I didn't have kids yet. It was easier to be like, here's a review every single day. But YouTube rewarded that back then. And somewhere it switched, and now it's far more about watch time. It's more about engagement. So like they want, like right now, the algorithm favors it when you have a video where people stay engaged for a large percentage of it, right? They want to see the people not clicking off that video. They want to see people leaving comments on the video, hitting like or dislike. Both of those are engagement. They want that. That's what the algorithm wants. And it also wants like you have to kind of create, what I've tried to do is create like a good schedule for when my stuff drops. So like YouTube knows that every Saturday morning there's a new episode of Toy Hunting. So it's like you have to like train the algorithm to know what to expect so that it will hopefully push that video out beyond just your subscribers so that more people see it. So that has honestly been the biggest challenge, is trying to figure out what to do to stay ahead of that kind of stuff. And you mentioned my 2 channels. I just created that toy hunting channel within the last year and a half.
Yep.
And I did that specifically because of how much things have changed on this platform.
Yep.
My main channel, the Pixel Dan channel, the one I've had for 17 years, has always just been a catch-all for everything that I want to do. But the reality is now, like, that algorithm rewards content that's like uniform in the style of content. So I kind of felt like moving the toy hunts to be its own channel, where that's the only thing that channel did, would be beneficial, because then the algorithm knows what it is and knows what audience to feed it to. You know what I mean? It's not
Absolutely.
getting mixed up with my modern toy reviews and my convention coverage. If somebody only cares about vintage toy hunting, they aren't going to care about all that other stuff, and it's going to screw up my stats because they're not watching everything.
You know what? That's a great point. And
yeah,
I mean, you and I could probably talk about just like video creation and YouTube career for an hour. Don't get me wrong, I would love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny that you mentioned all this, because like you're a couple hours ahead of me, being Central Time. I'm out west. By the time I wake up for my morning coffee, your toy hunt video is already up.
Yeah.
So there I am brewing a coffee, you know, and there you are out at the Chicago Kane County show or doing whatever. But yeah. Well, you know what?
Saturday mornings are a great time. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
the idea there is to kind of recreate that whole Saturday morning cartoon idea, right?
Yes.
So like you have
Yes.
something fun and new with toys on Saturday morning when you wake up. Plus, everybody's ready to like get out of bed, get some coffee, and turn on and watch YouTube for a little bit before they start their day. So it's like it just really figured out like that was a good spot for that, and it's been working really well. So.
Well, you know, in terms of figuring out the YouTube algorithm, I've always had a theory, and any new content creator will figure this out in the first 6 months. I have a theory that the harder I work on a video, the less views it gets.
That's the truth. Me and several colleagues, other people, other toy tubers, we joke about that all the time. If it's something that you're working really hard on, you're doing all this crazy editing, you're super proud of it, you better expect it to get like 1,000 views.
So that's my theory. Is that if I do a long thing called the fan documentary on the golden age of wrestling, and I throw all the flashing lights and everything in there, and everything going back to Vince Sr. to today, it'll get like 5 views. And if I do, here's how to transform Generation 1 Bumblebee step by step, it will go viral.
Isn't that insane?
That's just a theory I have. I won't do that, but because I don't know. I worry I'll actually be right.
I will say a part of that is kind of cool in the sense that it's almost like that's kind of what YouTube started as, right? YouTube was supposed to be about you broadcasting yourself. We weren't professionals on TV. We were just us being us. And that's like what YouTube started as. So a part of that is kind of cool that that's still like what seems to gain traction sometimes, like is just not highly edited or polished content, just you doing something fun with your toys. I don't know. It's cool.
Yep.
Frustrating, but
that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. Well, I've talked your ear off for nearly 15 minutes here without even actually promoting the book.
It's
but
okay.
Not only is the link in the description, but y'all can type in right there, toysoftmnt.com.
Yes.
Get your copy today. This is the book I've needed because I love to do some TMNT vintage content. And as you know, as a content creator, you can't grab every single toy to do a video, whether it's a retrospective or whatever. And yeah, you can get website permissions and things like that, but then you're waiting for responses back from people to say it's okay and what are you going to use. But if you've got the book in hand and you're just photographing it in your hands, right, and you just leave a link as to where others can buy it, hey, that's largely what it's there for. So
there you go. Yeah.
I mean, did you want to give an overview of 100%. The books?
Sure. So the Toys of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1 is going to cover every action figure, vehicle, and playset released in the original toy line from Playmates Toys from 1988 through 1993. So that's about the first half of the original toy line. And I know a lot of people immediately, when I kind of announced this, immediately people were like, why'd you stop at 93? That's a weird, arbitrary year to stop. But the best way to answer that question is that original Turtles toy line essentially went for a decade nonstop. And there were so many toys released in that original toy line, lots of figures, lots of vehicles. And in order to do it justice with really showing everything we want to show, it could not all fit in one book. So we made the decision pretty early on in the process that we were going to have to split this into 2 volumes so that we could properly cover everything. I didn't want to like cram everything in where the pictures were really small or we couldn't include everything we wanted to include. So I wanted to make sure we did everything justice. We really showed everything off. So volume 1 is going to be the first half of the original toy line. The plan is to still release volume 2 shortly after this. We're working on everything all at once, so no worries there. I'm not like starting from scratch. It's like it's all being worked on. But the important thing to note is that we really need to get this book pre-sold so we can get it off to the printers so that we can really get rolling and then hopefully get that volume 2 up for order after this.
I like how you've answered that, because like depending on how you curate the books, because there's clearly more for TMNT than there was for Motu. You've said that multiple times, right?
Yeah.
But like one of our common friends, Brian Hickey, and his co-writer there, Patty Lennon from Total Toy Books, right?
Yeah.
They did the Action Force book. They did a volume 1, right? And that just covered Action Force from 82 to 85 until Palatoy had to shut down, and then their volume 2 was the International Heroes that went from 87 onwards, and their volume 3 is going to be unproduced toys. So slicing it up actually works, and actually I think his Kickstarter goes up like a day or 2 after yours ends.
Oh, amazing, that's awesome.
For volume 3,
I've got volume 1 and 2, so I'm gonna have to make sure I grab that.
Oh gosh, yeah, he showed me a preview of volume 3, and I'm like, Brian, you're a man after my own heart, because I love the unproduced stuff. And tell Ed, because he loves unproduced too.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, if you do put it all into one volume, it'll be just photos, right? Or you end up with, and I love this other book, but it has to slide under my bed because it's so big, is Carson Metaxas' 3D Joe's
It's huge, right?
book.
I love Carson's book. It's incredible. But I remember the day that showed up and I was just like, oh my God, what do I do with this thing?
So,
but it's incredible.
Yeah. So there's only room for one of those in my collection. So thank you for splitting this up into 2 books, because now I'm like, look, from the floor to the bottom of the bed frame is only yay thick. I don't have room to put yours on top if you'd done the same thing.
That's right. So, Carson already got the big book out there. So
Carson already filled that space.
None of the rest of us can do that now.
That's right.
Yeah. So we briefly talked about that He-Man book. So in the He-Man book, that was like 82 through 2019, right? That was like every He-Man toy line up to that point, and we were able to get it into 750 pages. Volume 1 of this Turtles book, which is just the first 5 years of the toy line, takes up over 600 pages.
Yep.
So that really tells you right there exactly why it would be too difficult to put everything just in one book the way we want to do it. So, but it's what's cool about this is like, the other thing I keep telling people too is like volume 1 here is going to be like all that stuff you remember. Like when you're thinking about vintage Turtles, the stuff you had as a kid, the commercials, all the stuff, if you're around our age, it's probably all here in volume 1. When volume 2 eventually comes out, that's going to be all the stuff that you're looking at going, I had no idea this exists. What is this? I didn't know about because it's always amazing to realize that original Turtles line going for 10 years, like multiple generations of kids lived through that original toy line. Like when that toy line started, I was a child, and when it ended, I was an adult. Yep. Right? It's weird to think about it like that. So I really hadn't been paying attention to it for the last 4 or 5 years. Like as far as I was concerned, that toy line stopped when I stopped getting toys. Yeah.
Like, so, around Turtles, around Secret of the Used, all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're all out of this, right? So
yeah, exactly.
And you know what? A lot of people like that later, more obscure stuff because
awesome.
They'll want the volume 1 because that's their nostalgia. but they'll know more about what's in there than say volume 2. Now, volume 1, you do have the variants guide, but you are going to cover the basic variants in the main book itself, like the soft head versus the hard head, things like that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Anytime there's like a notable variant, that's pretty well known, like color variations, or like you said, the soft heads, the hard heads, Ace Duck with the hole in his head, or the no hole in his head with the, the hat that's got a peg. And then there was the hat with no peg. Like all of that kind of stuff is going to be pictured and or listed in the main book. Because we're even like listing out card back variations where they exist. But that variant guide will be far more detailed, and we can talk about that whenever you're ready to talk about that. So that's like it's a good add-on to the main book.
So it's funny because like I don't want to upsell anyone who was only planning to buy the one book, but when I see like a variant guide, for me it's almost like that's like the true advanced level value. Once you've digested the main stuff, right? So being somebody who runs a YouTube channel, people love it when I talk about like go on a little bit of a side trek to talk about the variants or stuff that you don't always see, especially if they have only a passing knowledge of that line. They love to see that extra stuff, right? It's like it's not even just the bonus side B contents of the Blu-ray thing. It's almost like it's better than that. It's not just outtakes. You know what I mean?
If you're anything like me, like as a collector, you have a toy line that you're focused on, and when you feel like you've finished collecting that line, well, how does it get exciting again? How do you keep it interesting? Oh, look at this variant. Oh, I didn't know about this variant. And now you're collecting variants for the line, right? That's definitely what happened to me with Masters of the Universe. It's what has happened to me with Turtles. So like you said, it's like a level up, right? It's like some collectors, this is what's important, or this is what's exciting, and this is what matters. So that's exactly kind of what this variant guide is really about. This one, I should mention, was written by my friend John Coleman. John, I met early on in the process of working on this book. He's a massive Turtles fan. He's super knowledgeable, and we became really good friends working on this. And while we were piecing it all together, it was kind of one of those things where we realized like this list that he's keeping of the variants, like this year's worth of work that he's invested into tracking all this stuff, should be published. Like it's really cool. And somebody out there, multiple somebodies, are going to care about that information. So that's why we just decided, like, John, let's make your book like that could be a perfect add-on book that we can sell with the standard book. And anybody that wants this really awesome book that's just a list guide to the variants, that's exactly what this is. So this is like, it's mostly black and white, it's in list format, but it goes through and by year lists the figures, lists out all the different variants with good explanations, exactly what it is. It even breaks down waves and stuff. It's really cool. And then the middle of the book has multiple full color pages that will actually show you some of the variants of the different card backs, like different packaging variants for the figures. So this is something where, like, if you are a collector and you're trying to keep track of your stuff, or you want a checklist to carry with you while you're hunting, the variant guide is going to be perfect for something like that.
Well, look at the Motu world. How many times do you see a battle cat and you don't go, I've already got the battle cat. You check the stripes on the tail, you check where it was made, you check the color of the tone of the green.
Yep.
You check everything on that.
Every time.
Now, I recall you being on Thunder Punch He-Man's channel just the other day. And you'd mentioned that this book, even though this one's 600 pages and the other this one's 600 pages and your previous book with Motu was 750, you're going to use a different kind of paper, so the thickness is going to be relatively similar.
It's going to be similar, but it'll actually like the quality is really nice that we've chosen. I'm going to pull up I got some more details because I wanted to be more specific about about what we're doing for the printing process. So shout out to my partner Val Staples on this, because this is all his wheelhouse right here. So the printing process that we're using is called offset printing, and so like the cardstock will be thicker than the He-Man book, which is nice. Like the pages are really nice. They'll have that good like kind of gloss to it. They'll feel really good, but it's like a heavier stock too. So because of that, it's actually going to be about the same size as the He-Man book. in thickness, maybe even a little bit thicker, like depending on how it goes, which is kind of crazy. But the other cool thing about this is we're using this extended color process for the printing process, which is outside of the typical 4-color CMYK that's used for most standard printing. So this one's like got more colors that it's using in the printing process. So it's a little bit more expensive, but we wanted to do it because the Ninja Turtles figures are so bright and colorful and neon that we wanted to make sure those colors could be captured like as one-to-one as possible in the book, right? We want you to look at those pictures in the book and it look exactly the way it does in your hand. We didn't want the colors to be muted or anything like that. We wanted those bright neons. So the printing process, it like I said, it cost us a little bit more, but not so much more that it was like out of the question. It was one of those things where we were like, this is what we have to do because we really do want this to be the best we can possibly make it. We want it to look really good.
Now you want people talking about it as well.
Yeah.
And one thing that came up, because I watched your Secret Galaxy talk with him in my case before I came on here. Am I tipping my hand here? Like I saw your GDL one. I saw part of your Thunder
you did
Punch
your
Man
homework,
one.
man. Yeah,
I saw the beginning of your Toy Anxiety one. Partly because Dole lives 30 minutes away and he's gonna ask me whether I saw it. So
so you gotta keep up appearances.
Yeah, he's a regular. He shows up regularly in my toy hunts, even if he's just a cameo. And then Secret Galaxy happened to be on Saturday night around dinner, so I was like, okay, I'll watch this one as well. Pizza jokes and all. Yeah.
So much pizza jokes.
Yes.
So many. Yeah.
You'd mentioned in that stream that you got complaints that the Motu card were the photos of the card backs were too small for some people. So is that an adjustment you're making for this TMNT?
So it is, yeah. And I'm glad you actually put the picture up. That's really cool. So with the Motu book, like we were stuck to having to do one item per page in that book. And that was because of, what we were given to work with for that book. And we had to cover, every He-Man toy line. So 1 page per figure was what we had to work with. And that was a challenge, just making sure we had enough space for everything. So you could see in this picture with Ram Man here, the carded photos, they're just kind of like they're in the side over there, the side ribbon, and they're a little bit smaller than the rest. And some of the constructive criticism that I got on this book was often about the picture sizes. A lot of people said, this looks great. I just wish the pictures were bigger, especially of the card backs, because I can't really see the artwork. It's hard to see the artwork. It's hard to see the cross cells. And I totally understand that. But like, again, we were limited in what we could do there. So we did the best we could. But that was one of the reasons why we decided in the Ninja Turtles book, we're going to go ahead and do a 2-page spread for each of the offerings. That's right. Because not only does that allow us more space for all of our photos, we can get those bigger card back images in there. So they're bigger than this because now they're taking up a whole half of a page and you can see everything nicely. But also Ninja Turtles, I don't know if you're aware, have a lot more accessories than He-Man figures did. Look at Ram Man. Ram Man has 1 axe.
Yep.
Most Ninja Turtles have like 5 to 10 accessories a piece, right? And we still wanted to make sure we have that proper accessory breakdown, because that's another thing people always tell me that they love. They love using the book to make sure their figures are complete, to make sure that they're not missing any accessories. So that was key. We wanted to have that, and having to have enough space to show all of those accessories proper, plus our glamour shots, plus our turnarounds, plus our action features, plus the card backs. It just made more sense to give the figures more space to breathe by doing 2-page spreads.
Now, did Dark Horse as the publisher tell you to do it this way?
Essentially, yes. Because we had to cover everything. We had limits to what we could do. And even at this book coming in at 752 pages, they told us that it was almost too big to bind as a hardback book. So like they told us like, this is a big book. This is almost too big for us. Which I thought was crazy at the time. So yeah, we had to do that, do it that way. And that's, we're self-publishing the Turtles book. So we do have a little bit more freedom to kind of make our own choices on some of this stuff. And so we're using what we learned from working on the He-Man book and trying to adapt that to these new projects going forward.
Perfect. Yeah. I only grabbed the book because I was like, if they limited you to the one page on Eternia, I would be like, how did you do? But no, it looks like they made an exception for that one.
Yeah, so the play sets, we had more wiggle room because there was no way to stick a play set on one page. I think Eternia got the biggest spread in the book. It got 4 pages, I think. But
I just had it open.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But like I think Grayskull and Snake Mountain got maybe all the play sets got 4 pages. All the play you're gonna double check.
Now I gotta look, right?
Like I can't even remember. It's my book. I can't even remember.
Well, no, it's fine. You know, people ask me questions about the Delta 17 comic issue 1, and I'm like, sorry, that character said what?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, why did he say that thing? I'm like, I have no idea. You know?
That's like, yeah, I've been doing YouTube.
Okay, Grayskull got 2.
Okay, Grayskull got 2, so Snake Mountain probably has 2. So
Eternia got 4.
Eternia had 4. Okay, that's what I thought. See, I should have just stuck with my initial. I was right the first time. I should have trusted myself.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We all forget things that we should actually know.
Yeah.
Right. So. Right. Okay. Nope. That's amazing. Now, how are we progress? I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but on GDL the other night, you mentioned you were at about 60% funded.
Yeah.
Are we substantially past that now?
We're making great progress. It's definitely helped.
Good.
Everybody's been helping us out. So as of right now, and you're going to post this after we're recording it. So in theory, it'll be even higher than this. But as of right now, we are at 75% is the
perfect.
last I checked. So we are really getting there. We're down to the last 4 days right now as of recording. But I'm feeling really good about this. And that's another thing too that I just always really want to stress. Like with us self-publishing this, the pre-orders are here so that we can fund the printing of this book. So it is really important that if this is something you're interested in, please consider buying it now through the pre-order, because I cannot guarantee that you're going to be able to just walk into a bookstore later and find this or get this off of Amazon. You know what I mean? With it being self-published, we're kind of stuck with this initial print run is us sending this to the printer and printing it.
Yes.
So if you want it, you got to help us make it happen by pre-ordering it right now through our site.
There we go. So everyone who's watching this right now, right? If you are watching this channel, you probably like vintage stuff. And I know I'm making my way through the 80s and I haven't had a lot of time to cover Turtles yet. But y'all watch this who are watching this channel, watch me for G.I. Joe, Transformers, tiny bit of wrestling, Mask here and there. Turtles is coming down the pipeline. I just didn't have a good book to reference and cross-check everything. Well, now it's coming, so now I can make Turtles content.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Right?
Right.
You know. So
there's multiple purposes for a book like this, right? It's for people who had these as a kid and remember them and they want that nostalgia burst. It's for people who are collectors and they want to keep track of their collections. And it's for content creators who need the backstory and the information so they can keep creating content. See, it works for everything.
You know, you having been on YouTube for so long, you get those people who like to correct you in the comments. Right.
Well, of course, that's always
right. So, because in my first couple of years, I was a very, very small channel. I wouldn't say I'm not a big channel now. I'm mid-sized at best, but I'm starting to see more of that. But when somebody says, "No, Ken, you're wrong," what do? I grab your book if it's a He-Man thing. I grab Brian Hickey's book if it's an Action Force thing. I grab Carson's book if it's a G.I. Joe thing. Flip. Ha ha, neener, I'm right.
Then they can blame me, right? Oh, well, Pixel Dan's wrong then.
Well, if they do that, at that point, I just give up, because then not only were you wrong, I took it and didn't catch it when I cross-checked it, which because I'll probably go to Battle Ram Vlog just for the heck of it, right? Just feel like, okay, can I add another sentence to what I'm about to say?
Adam's great too. Adam's
a great guy.
Adam helped a lot with that He-Man book. So all of the fun facts and trivia throughout that book, that was all written by Adam. That's all.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah, he's the best.
So the main book is $69.99. That's
correct. Yep.
Yep, and 9x12, so it's going to match the size. I'm just reading right off the page here, and you've also got sorry, I'm clicking on my other window. I should be clicking here in StreamYard. You've also got the limited edition book.
That's right. So this is like a special pre-order bonus. It's a special edition. So this one is only being offered during this pre-order window. So this one's going to be made to order. Like however many we pre-order is what we're going to be printing on this one here. And this is just a way to have something a little nicer and a little fancier. So if you want like a really fancy, cool version of this book, this one has a really sweet green faux leather cover. It's got this awesome embossed silver deco on the top and along the spine. It's got the gilded silver page edges, and then it also comes with a dust cover, a dust jacket that
Oh, yes.
matches the artwork that's on the standard edition. So if you're worried about not having the photography that you see on the standard edition, it's on that dust jacket that's going to be on this one here. So this one is really cool looking. I think it's just, I love the shiny silver of the page edges. I think it's so cool. So, but this one is $99.99. So it is a bit of a price bump, but it is sweet. If you're into special editions, I think you'll really like this one.
Well, that's what it is. Back in the day, you wanted that video game, and then the video game had a special edition, special cover, right? Or a gold foil something if it was a Zelda game, Yeah, it's always like that. That's what this is. So
now, I'm a big fan of toys with like vac metal and shiny stuff. So I was all over I was like, we can make the book shiny? Yeah, I'm in.
you like vac metal stuff, so noted for Delta 17. Okay.
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. But no self-promotion tonight, Ken. Tonight's about this series of books funding over the coming weekends. So
That's right.
All right. And we've talked a little bit about it already, but sorry. Well, we're going to go into the books first, but yeah, so I can see there that the cards are you see the accessories, you see the cards. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it it shows the variations on there. We were talking about some of the variants. So like the soft head, hard head comparison there above the card backs. We even have like weapon variations. So like the Ninja Stars pointed tip or rounded tip. And we've got picture samples of both versions up there. And then even under the card back, there's like a list that kind of lists out the different packaging variations that exist for Leonardo. So we did our best to like show as much as we could and list out all the information as well, so that it's as, very complete. Very complete. Really gives you a good picture of the toy.
Well, that's very good to know, because then we're not just you got 2 pages here for Leo. That gives us a lot of good information.
I just love how, like, man, look at those pictures, look so good. So like I have to give a huge shout out to Val and the rest of the team that are working on the photo restoration. So I took all the photos, but then, they clean them up and make them look real good for printing. And I love seeing these big, giant, vibrant photos on here. Like that's what I'm excited to like get it in hand and just flip through and like see all those pictures. I think it's going to look so cool.
So that's another thing I wanted to touch on here. A lot of people know Val Staples as like the PowerCon guy, right?
That's right. Yeah,
What's his role in this?
So we're partners on the book together. So this is our project. Like I'm the lead author, the project lead, whatever you want to call it. But Val is like, he's my right hand man on all of this stuff. I couldn't do these books without Val. So he's definitely like, I guess we can call him like the art director, right? He's the guy that's helping with the formatting of everything, helping us come up with the layouts. He presented all the different layout options, and then I kind of, gave my opinions on how I wanted things to lay out. But he's the artistic one of us. I don't have that talent. So I totally have to rely on him to do that. But he also travels with me. We do the photography stuff together. He helps me get everything. We clean the toys together. We get everything organized. Like we've spent a lot of time sitting together and John Coleman too, sitting together and just scrubbing toys, wiping toys down, cleaning toys off, making sure they're ready to be photographed. And then we shoot them. And that's a long process if you've ever done that. And with all the stuff we had to shoot for this, I mean, this was years. We'd spent years traveling around to different fans' homes to photograph stuff from their collection to fill our list out.
That's a lot of travel expenses.
It really is. It really is. Yeah.
So you don't ask for the photos to be sent to you and cleaned up later. You actually go and take the photos.
I do it. I do it all myself. I don't. It's kind of like one of those things where I wanted to be in control of that aspect of it. So it's like it's a method of making sure that the photos match. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to like the camera settings, the lighting, the style of the photography. Like I just wanted it to all look the same, like it was done the same. So
Huh?
yeah, it's like and this is a part of the process I really enjoy too. I mean, it's a lot of work and it's exhausting, but I love getting out there and like getting to get hands on with all of the toys that I'm like going to be writing about and researching for this book, and meeting all the fans who love the same stuff as me, and then like seeing what they collect and why they collect the things they do and what they focus on. Like all of that is so integral to a book like this coming together for me. Like I need those experiences, because those experiences is what makes this book.
I like that you're talking about this process and the collaborative efforts of you, Val Staples, and John Coleman, because like now that I'm hearing this, it seems to be like it's an industry norm for independent self publishers. Because we mentioned Total Toy Books and Brian Hickey and them, but it's kind of a similar thing where Brian Hickey's the lead, but he's mostly a book designer and an editor and like the publishing guy. Patty Lennon is like his main author. And then for like expertise on comics, they go to a third gentleman named David McDonald. But all three of them kind of do this together. So it's finding out that you have a couple different partners on this as well. It's actually really good because every single person in that trio will have a different network of contacts.
Absolutely.
Somebody
Yes.
somebody might have this variant or that variant, right?
Right. And that was like, John was a big help with that, because like he would know somebody else that might have like a bunch of the package stuff, because he didn't have we shot a bunch of figures at John's house, but he doesn't have things in package, and he would know somebody. So then we would go to that person's house, and then he might know somebody, and it worked the same way in the Motu book. Like everybody would basically like recommend a couple more people, and then they would recommend a couple more people. And it's amazing to kind of watch the community like really come together to help with a project like this. It's so cool.
And same thing with Carson for 3D Joes. Him and Chad Huggle work closely together, but they also work with a group called Joe Declassified. And if I had known during that time, because now it's on his website, but it's not in his book, the LJN Sergeant Slaughter, the 8-inch one. I didn't know that this is not a flex. I've had it for a long time, so all of you in the audience, don't get on me for flexing here. But I didn't realize that they didn't have one photographed. So I'm like, oh, damn it. I could have added that into the book.
No.
But now it's up on 3djoes.com. I'm proud of myself for contributing that, but I'm like, if only I'd gotten in touch with them sooner on that when that book was going on.
Sooner,
Yeah.
That's the one that Hasbro made it, but it's like in the style of the LJN wrestlers.
Yes, and it feels a bit different. Like it's a firmer rubber. It's not as bendy as the others.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know about that until within the last 5 years or so, and it's one of those.
Yeah.
Every time like we saw it, where did I see it? Big Fund in Columbus, Ohio. I saw one in person, and I just remember being like, "Oh my god, that is incredible!" But there's no way. That's like one of those like that's expensive. That's a pricey boy.
So I bought it like 6 years ago for what people already thought was a little too much back then. Yeah. And then of course it's gone. And like people were like, "You idiot! You spent that and added tax at the store." I'm like, just watch. And of course, WWE Network continues to take off. The pandemic happens. Everybody's watching wrestling at home, and they're like, "So can I have it from you at cost, Ken?" I'm like, "Oh, you mean the guy who told me I was an idiot for spending that? You want it at cost now?
I have several things in my collection that are similar. Like I bought them many, many years ago, and what I thought was expensive then, and they've only gotten so much higher now. And I'm like so grateful that I bought some of it. But on the flip side, there's plenty of other things I don't have that I'm just like, oh, if only, if only
I know.
I would have been smart enough to think ahead. And
I know we all have that. Now,
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take a small risk here because if I'm wrong, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But was it you who did because you very rarely do something that's a hot take? Was it you that said that Scratch isn't actually that rare, or did somebody else say that?
No, that's me. That's kind of like my. All right, so I feel like I have to clarify because people get a little mad at me when I say things like that, and that's not necessary. So my take on Scratch. Here we go. Here's my Scratch is kind of looked at now as like one of the grails, if not the grail of Ninja Turtles, and he fetches 800 to $1,000, right? It's crazy seeing how much he sells for now. So the reason I always kind of, and it's more of a joke than anything, but the reason I always joke about him not being rare is because every toy show or convention I go to, I see one or two of these for sale. Minimum. Sometimes more than than that. So the reality is that I don't think he's not rare in the sense that he's impossible to find, right? He's out there, he's accessible. You could probably go to a toy convention and find one, but he does fetch that kind of money, and people pay that kind of money to own him, which means he is worth that much. Like, something is worth what people are willing to pay. If people are paying $800 for a scratch, he's worth $800. And the reality is he probably is produced in lower numbers than some of, like, obviously the figures in the first couple years. I just don't think he's not impossible to find. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of like really rare toys out there that you might see once in like a 10-year span if you're lucky, right? Scratch ain't that. Scratch is there. He's out there. He can easily be found if you're willing to pay the money for him.
You know what? I love your answer, because when I asked the question, you didn't look at me and go, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Because that would have been the dead awkward silence right after. I'm like, well, then who said it? Because I swear I heard it on the internet. Yeah. But you know what?
On me.
Every toy line has one of those. Like, the really hardcore G.I. Joe collectors will tell you that a Goldhead Steel Brigade is not that rare. They will say that the version 1A of the Steel Brigade is actually rarer. You know,
Right.
For Motu, I'm not sure which it is, but when I go to a toy show, I can find Scareglow everywhere. He's not worth what Scratch is worth, you know?
Right. You're totally
But
Scareglow. Oh my God. Scareglow is a perfect comparison though. Like,
yes.
there's definitely a lot more Scareglows out there than Scratches, but Scareglow is one of those figures that commands like a $400 price tag or higher. And
Yep.
like, there's so many Scareglows out there. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know. Just because you said that about Scratch and people in my circle started saying that about Scareglow, when I finally saw Scareglow at a decent price, I don't know if the vendor knew that it came with the rarer halberd with the glow in the dark one.
Yeah,
So I actually paid the price of what a Scareglow should go for, but I got the rarer halberd on it a while ago. So I'm just like, all right, I know the guy. Maybe I'll buy him dinner sometime. There you go. Oh, let me maximize your screen for a second here.
Yeah, I was
all right.
say, those are some of my faves up there. I got a bunch of good stuff over there. So there's all my mosquitoes. I got like test shots and stuff like that. And then the international variations of him. He's the only figure I really go crazy with, like international variants, but he's my fave. So
you go crazy for him. I saw when you saw the new Mosquito at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You know, you suddenly turn into Stone Cold Steve Austin for a second. What? I'm like, you just need the shirt now, right? What? You know, you just need everyone else. You just need the rest of the crowd to go what when you say what when you see another Mosquito. So.
That's right.
Yeah. And this is the variant guide that we kind of already touched on. So, yeah, $19.99, great value.
And there's bundles available. So if you want the main book and the variant guide, you'll save money doing the bundle. Or if, same with special edition, or if you want all 3 books for some reason, which would be awesome. We have bundles for that will save you some money. So that way you can get everything that you want.
Yep. So there's the pricing right there. Hopefully people can see that on their screens. And if you go to toysofTMNT.com, that's been scrolling for this entire time we've been talking, you'll be able to click the bundle that you want. I opted for the $84.99 bundle there.
Nice.
That has the 2 books there, because I really do think there's extra value in that variants guide.
Awesome. I'll also note too, like anybody that is wanting to go look at this to pre-order, like we just enabled the shop pay feature on the store just within the last 24 hours here.
I saw that.
Think, if anybody that like buys anything nowadays, you probably are familiar with shop pay, because most online retailers use that as an option now. But I think that's great because it does give us the option to accept more forms of payment now. So like Shop Pay lets you use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Amazon, American Express, which we couldn't take before. And it gives you the chance, if you really want to, you can split it up into payments. So if that helps you do the pre-order, that option is now available to you. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody. I know there's a lot of things out there competing for the same money right now, all right, with all these HasLabs and the Snake Layer and other crowdfund projects and lots of pre-orders. So I feel bad asking people for more money but we're trying to make it as easy as possible on everybody.
The snowcat ends before this ends, so everyone look at your pay statements on Friday, because that's when this is going to go up, and then see whether you can split off another, $70 or $85 or whatever it is. And hopefully we've done a good job of selling this to the audience here, because I believe in projects like this. I constantly go back and look at the old reference guides.
Awesome.
So all the links are in the description, including Dan's channels down below. And Dan, we got a little bit of time left. Okay. I just need to ask the following question.
Okay.
Who's this evil guy?
Oh, I believe that is the Spotlight, Spencer Powers. He's quite the menace around the Central Illinois pro wrestling scene.
Well, you have a very handsome evil brother.
Yeah.
Evil twin.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. So, I guess you're Abel and he's Cain. So
there you go. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who aren't understanding the inside joke, I found out, not so much through the grapevine, but just on the internet in general, that Dan actually is also a professional wrestler. Right?
Yeah. So I've been doing that. Man, I've been involved in the independent wrestling scene for, 2025? Like 24 years now, which is really crazy to think about. Because right out of high school, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a wrestler. So I joined the local wrestling school and I got my training, and then I just started working like every weekend. I was working around Illinois and into Indiana and throughout the Midwest, and all through my 20s. Like that was my life. My weekends were wrestling. And then like the older I got, like I kind of toned it back a little bit. I met the girl who became my wife. We started having a family. Pixel Dan thing came about, right? The Pixel Dan thing came about well after I was already doing the wrestling thing. And life trajectory changed, but like I never stopped loving it. It's what you always hear, that it's hard to like quit doing it, and that's the truth. I love being involved. So I don't work as often as I used to, but I do still get involved with a couple of the local promotions around here. And every now and then I'll still get in the ring and throw down. Hurts a lot more now than it used to. I will say that. But yeah.
When I talked to you at JoeFest 24, I remember I asked you a couple questions of advice. The one question I didn't ask you is, when you see your name thrown around negatively on the toy internet space, and people are, because you're kind of visible, and kind of like sometimes, people, if people don't like you because you're too visible or something like that, I almost ask you, how do you deal with that? I'm like, well, let's see. He's been a heel wrestler. He's been booed. He's had stuff thrown at him. He's been body slammed. In this particular match, so shout out to Glory. Is it Pro? What was it? Glory?
Pro Wrestling Glory.
Shout out to Pro Wrestling Glory, because this is their screenshot, not mine, right? On this particular match, spoiler alert, he leaves through the crowd and gets counted out, and is like, screw you guys over there in the ring. So I'm just like, I could ask him how he deals with people not necessarily liking his personality, and I don't know why anybody wouldn't, but you end up with people who don't like people. I was like, I almost asked you that at JoeFest 24, and I'm like, but he's a pro wrestler. Like, he's dealt with worse than somebody saying, I don't like that video.
Well, I guess the difference would be, as a pro wrestling heel, I'm trying to get booed. It's a good thing that I'm getting booed, because that means I'm doing my job right. So if I'm getting booed as Pixel Dan, maybe I'm not. Maybe that's a little different. No, yeah, you're not.
You're not. It's just that
it's just the way
you'll probably see one dislike for every few hundred likes or something like that. Right?
And that's fine, right? I mean, everybody has their own tastes and their own opinions, and I'm like, not everybody's gonna like me or my opinions or my videos, and that's just the way it is. Sometimes that sucks. Like, we're all human, and sometimes that hurts, and like I just do my best not to dwell on the negative, and I focus on the fun stuff. I focus on why I like doing this. I always say that I do this still to this day because I have fun doing it. And when it stops being fun, I'll know that it's time to move on, because there's no reason to do this if it's not fun.
Or time to get back in the ring and grab that steel chair.
That's right. Or I'll just grab the chair and then...
Well, honestly, Dan, thank you so much for doing this. And I don't think I said this when we were on the air. I think I said this just before, but You've also helped influence me a little bit, like the way you do your toy hunts, the way Ed's Retro Geek Out does his toy hunts, right? If people who are on the channel look at my toy hunts from like 2 years ago, they're a little bit different now. They're a little bit more interactive. There's a little bit
Sure.
extra in the field footage because when your toy hunts channel came up, I saw that style. I saw what Ed was doing because he started doing more toy hunts as well, and I took a little bit of influence from that. And I wanted to thank him, but also thank you because you're here now.
Oh, of course.
And yeah,
No, it's like we were talking about this again, you said before, but like we all get influenced by the stuff that we enjoy, and I think that's great. And it's you always have to find new ways to keep things fresh and exciting and fun. You always got to learn new things. You've always got to evolve. So I'm happy that my content has kind of helped you out in that way. And there's been lots of content out there that's done the same for me. And I think that's just the cycle of it. That's the way we should all be.
and when I talked to Dan Larson from Secret Galaxy as well, one of the things I thanked him for was one of my highest viewed videos. And sorry to the audience, we're getting a bit into the YouTube thing now. Some of my highest viewed videos are when I supercut like some of the history videos together because he did that for his Robotech series. And I thanked him once before we went for an Audio Toy Geeks podcast with Jay from Geek Dad Life, and he said, "You know what, Ken? I got that from somebody else." It's kind of like what you said, where you got influenced from somebody else. So
and that's a thing too. Like I've been toying with the idea of doing that same kind of thing, doing those longer form things where you cut it all together. Because that's another one of those weird algorithm things, right? Like it's kind of become a thing for people to like turn on those long form videos and zone out, right? Whether they're doing something else, they're working. Like if I'm writing a book, sometimes I'll just click on something so I've got that nice little background noise or something, and So
Yep.
yeah, man, it's just like there's always new things. There's always something new that you can try.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? You're welcome back on this channel anytime. I know you're a busy guy. You're a very busy guy.
This has been a blast, man. I really appreciate it, and thank you for giving me a platform to promote my projects. I really appreciate that.
Well, we're getting close, and hopefully we can all celebrate Sunday night when this is over. So,
yep.
anything else you wanted to touch on, ma'am?
No, I am good. Just thank you guys so much for all of the support and the positive feedback on this project. Just a reminder, like if this is something you're interested in, please consider putting in a pre-order today or sharing this with somebody that you might think likes it. Because even just sharing it is a huge help, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Anything? I guess that covers everything.
That's it. That's it. Yep, I'm good, man.
Awesome. So we'll hit stop here and we'll just wave goodbye to the camera.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Until next time.
All right. All the links are in the description. You all know where to find it. Have a look, everyone. Have a good night.